Down in the depths of my soul, feeling the loss of control and in a spirit so colorful. Easy feeling, let's go to a place where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising,
Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Toon Review for a later than usual on a Sunday night start to the program. But we hope you've had a fabulous weekend and you're ready for the build-up to the Premier League, of course, kicking off again, and the very, very busy period up to Christmas. And you can spend all that time with us because we'll be very, very busy, of course, during that time. Just before we start, if you do enjoy tonight's show, as usual, guys, if you could give us the thumbs up, that would be great. And, of course, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and come be part of this wonderful community on the Toon Review. It is free to do so. And also the notification bell, which will let you know when we schedule our live shows or we upload any recorded videos such as the one earlier today. You can become a member of the Toon Review by hitting the join button just underneath. And, of course, you can donate to the channel if you do so wish by hitting the $ just underneath the live chat. That will also get your comment read straight out as well as helping the channel. Good evening, gentlemen.
Very good evening.
Hello.
A little cold where you are tonight, Billy Bob?
It's freezing. It's Baltic.
Yeah, it's getting that way now. It's it's winter is here. Alex, have you safely recovered now from your escapades on Thursday night / Friday morning?
Still, no, I've got a real sore throat. So if my voice goes, do apologise, guys. I'll try my best.
Some Alan Ball.
Yeah. Zishan, thank you for your $9.99 super chat straight off the bat. He says, hi, guys. If something has happened in Trippier's personal life, we wish him all the best. But I just think Eddie's had a cheeky word with him beforehand. He needs a rest, guys. Well, of course, we will start the show with that, of course. I did a video on that earlier on today. I hope you've all been and seen that. If not, go and watch that after the show. Of course, Trippier's pulled out of the England squad, and all we know is down to a personal matter. We don't know anything else. That is all that the statement has said. Now, you get your usual conspiracy theorists saying, oh, that's why he was in such a bad mood after the Bournemouth game because he's got loads of stuff on his mind. Look, it may well be that one of his kids isn't well or his wife's not well or, it could be literally anything. Personally, I'm glad he's pulled out of the squad. He can get a week's rest now or a week, a couple of days off maybe. And then the reports will state that he should be able to play no problem against Chelsea. It's none of our business really, Alex, but at the end of the day, it's a personal matter that Kieran needed to go and deal with.
Yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully he's okay. I don't want to speculate because it's personal. And hopefully he's back soon.
Billy?
Yeah, it's his private life. It's got nothing to do with anyone else. Yeah, no point speculating about what it is. However, it does help him get a bit of a rest for a week, I guess. So, there is a bright side to it if anything is kind of going poorly in his private life.
Well, although Southgate won't be able to play 3 right backs in the same game tomorrow.
No.
So
yeah,
6 of the 2 this time, won't he?
That's a bonus.
Absolute moron. Sorry, the
Look,
the depth, by the way, in that England game. I've just got to mention that the depth. That's proof that he should have introduced new blood into this England side because the depth isn't good enough at international level. It's not at all. We were so poor. For anybody who didn't watch the game, it was just no zip, no energy, no line breaking passes, no decent long balls, no penetration, nothing. We were just poor. We weren't good at all. Asking Harry Kane and Phil Foden, it was just awful. It was just terrible.
Mark Jones says, give Alex a fish. He sounds like a seal. Yeah, well, he was talking an awful lot once the drinks were flowing on Thursday night. There's no doubt about it. And to be honest, over breakfast on Friday morning, he was quiet, shall we say. Me and Susan came down to see Alex sitting there like a lost little hobo, and just didn't seem to know what planet he was on, never mind anything else. However, that's what it's all about. It was a fantastic night, thoroughly enjoyable, and hopefully do it all again next year. But also something else to talk about is, again, I mentioned this on the video earlier on today, Billy, is the injury to Sean Longstaff. Nobody quite knows what the hell it is. Of course, he took a heavy knock to the ankle against Bournemouth, but some reports are saying he's out for the Chelsea game, and some reports are saying he's out for 6 weeks. We just have no idea. We're
not going to have any idea until at the earliest Friday in his press conference, at the latest 2:00 Saturday afternoon. I mean, that's how. We have no idea. The one thing that we're not transparent on is injury layoffs, and half the time they probably don't know. So, I think he'll play against Chelsea, if I'm perfectly honest.
You think he'll play?
Well, he ran off. He carried on playing after he did the injury against Bournemouth, didn't he? Without any kind of a limp or anything. But, the ball hit his ankle and kind of got his studs caught in the turf. It was a strange one, wasn't it?
Yeah, weird injury.
It was a weird injury.
I mean, it obviously hurt because we thought.
Oh, it's screaming, would it?
We thought it was pretty serious when he did it, because of course he must have been a very strong impact. But he's important to the side, Alex, isn't he? So especially with Chelsea coming up. But again, mentioned in the earlier Daily News video, Eddie has been singing the praises of Lewis Miley, and also explained that Lewis Miley is going to be playing a big part in the next few games with who he's got available.
I think Bruno's more important. I do think Sean's important. I think all of our midfielders are important. They all are. We all miss certain aspects of their game when people are missing, especially over 3 or 4 matches where we're missing one. It does become apparent. Whereas there's no greater loss than Bruno, and the data backs that up. Whenever we're missing Bruno, we just don't win. We don't control games. We can't break up play. It's just so necessary. I mean, he's the only player in our squad, arguably. I mean, Trippier maybe, but he's the only player in our squad where you plop him on any team in the world and he'd be fine. Mm-hmm. You go put him in Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern Munich tomorrow, he'd be fine. He wouldn't look out of place. He wouldn't be one of the best, but he wouldn't look out of place. He's that level. And there's just, whereas obviously Sean and Joe Linton and Willock are great players, but Bruno is just so necessary for the way we play.
Yeah. Darren the Handmade Angler says, the paper airplane said it all the other night. It says a lot when part of me was rooting for Malta. Not really, but we were awful. Well, I'll tell you what was awful is Dion Dublin's commentary.
Wasn't great, was it?
It amazes me that, with the amount of people that are out there to co-commentate, they choose Dion Dublin, who, let's face it, these days is more doing homes under the hammer and stuff like that, rather than football. And his commentary was dreadful. I mean, that Harry Kane penalty, I don't care what anybody says, that was not a penalty. You saw Harry Kane, he was clever. Alex, he was clever in what he did.
I think it was a penalty.
I don't think it was. No, Harry Kane instigate the contact by putting his leg in. He put his leg in, and for me, it wasn't a penalty. And then he starts going on about the second one in the second half, saying that was a penalty. That was just good defending, good strength by the Malta defender, and eventually the Malta defender got pulled over, and he's going, "Oh, Stonewall penalty, Stonewall."
No,
he's terrible.
I think both are penalties. I think you're wrong. On
Alex, I think you've had an absolute castor.
The defender in
and
the
you're
second
still
situation,
seriously hungover. If you think they were penalties,
they were. The defender in the
No.
second situation
No.
moved about 3 feet to the left away from the ball just to block off. Was
he
it
blocked
Rashford? I think
him
it was
off.
Rashford,
What
wasn't
would
it?
you do as a defender? Just
Yeah,
say,
yeah, but
hang on a minute. I'll just
Yeah,
let
but
you-
the ball
I'll
was
just
somewhere
let you
else.
Run past.
Yeah, but the ball was somewhere else.
It wasn't.
It was. Go watch the replay. It was.
Alex,
100%. You're wrong.
Alex,
100%.
Alex,
I bet my life on it. You're wrong. 100%.
well, I
100%
wouldn't
you're
bet your life, matey, because
Oh,
I think that's
you're wrong.
no,
I'm that confident you're wrong.
well,
The
I
ball
don't
was
really
like
care.
4 feet
Billy,
the other side.
step in here. The voice
Oh.
of reason.
I thought the second one was, and I thought the first one wasn't.
The second one was 100% a penalty.
Look,
He moved 3 feet away from the ball to block
bollocks,
the
right?
player.
The fact of the matter is, England were absolutely dreadful. End of
Well, they
story.
were, yeah.
And
Scott,
having to
this-
rely on talking about penalty kicks to try and get past Malta. My God, where have we fallen to with
No,
this
you're right there.
international side?
We needed to create more from open play and control the game more, but still.
Well, there's a lot of different views coming in on the chat.
He could have played a completely different 11 there, and it'll do us good in the long term. Because when we play finals, Harry Kane gets injured, Kyle Walker gets injured, Kieran Trippier gets injured. We're knackered. Simple as that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's move on. Because I'm sick of trying to convince Alex he's wrong, but he's never, anyway,
That's fine.
tonight is all about the transfer window, which is, of course, opening up again very, very soon. In fact, about, a month and 10 days, a month and
6 weeks, wasn't I?
6 weeks or something. And it's going to be a massive, massive transfer window for Newcastle United, given what the problems we've had through the course of this early part of the season. But one guy that was strongly linked again today is Hugo Ekitike. Now, Alex, I don't know if he's on your list. I hope not, because,
I mean, we can give him a minute.
I don't know where I stand on Ekitike, to be honest. I mean, it was just a shit show back in January 2022. It seemed like Newcastle were pouring everything into getting him. His agent played a devious role in that for me. But, PSG then come knocking, and, a young French kid is always going to go to PSG. I don't care what anybody says. He said he wasn't ready to move abroad. We have to take him on his word for that. So, but apparently we are interested in bringing him in again in January, but we don't know if that is a transfer or a loan deal, Alex.
I mean, he's not bad. Just having a look now. Yeah. I mean, I think we could do with a player like him, to be honest. I think it's necessary. That profile's still on the list. Now, Miggy's not a spring chicken. Murphy's not over the hill, but, plus Wilson, you've got players either over 30 or edging 30. So a wide, versatile forward, sort of centre forward that can be a wide forward and a bit younger is definitely on the shopping list, 100%. We need another Gordon, basically. Maybe not in exactly the same frame. Maybe somebody with a bit more height, a bit more Isaki, possibly. Maybe with more of a preference of the right side and central. But we could do with another wide forward. We just absolutely could. Although this has been exacerbated by obviously Harvey Barnes' freak injury. It wouldn't have looked anywhere near this bad if that hadn't have happened. But it's ifs and buts. And if we want to make sure this doesn't happen in seasons to come, we need an extra +1 to that front unit. It's just proof. So, young, versatile wide forward, he fits the bill. He's still got legs. He's still good at take-ons. He works hard off the ball. He's 6'2". He's very Isaki in his kind of frame. I mean, we don't like what happened, but on paper it works and visually as well. So we'll see.
I mean, this is amazing, Billy. I feel like we're on we're live on air with Michael McIntyre, Billy. It's a pleasure welcoming him on. I mean, I can't wait to see you in March, Michael. 12-man Toon says, evening, everyone. Well done, TTR, on even getting to the FCAs. Absolutely buzzing for you in the community. Best I've ever seen on the YouTube scene. Thank you very much. That's very kind. Darren says, evening, guys. Hope everything's okay with Kieran Trippier having to leave England squad because of the personal reasons. Indeed. Billy, where do you stand on Mr. Ekitike?
Twice bitten, thrice shy. Absolutely want nothing to do with him whatsoever. I don't want to waste 4 weeks of a transfer window looking for a player that we desperately need and this bloke fucks around again. So no, not for me.
Interesting.
Does it depend on the context?
Was it? I mean, do you think it was
I
his
don't care.
agent causing most of the problem, Billy?
I don't care. I really don't care. It happened in January. It happened in the summer window as well. It wasn't a case of once bitten, twice shy. It's happened twice. Not for
Yeah,
me.
but what if we approach it differently? If we say this is the time frame, this is the price.
There's other
If
players.
they don't meet that, we walk
Yes.
away
There's
very
other players.
quickly.
I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even entertain it. There's other players around. Why go for this one? I know they've obviously scouted him and won him, but I'm afraid his agent's behaviour last time, not for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting given how there is a lot of people, different players out there, and we still get linked with Ekatike. My opinion is that he's a young kid, and I think he was misled. He was misled badly in January. He was probably taking too much notice of his agent, who was trying to get the most money he possibly could, and it just didn't happen. I mean, he's very young, remember. However, come January, I want a striker that comes to Newcastle who can hit the ground running, who is used to the Premier League, quite honestly, and knows the pace of the Premier League. Because what we need in January is someone that can come in and score goals. I'm talking, Alex, either Premier League quality or someone who is an out-and-out goal scorer from another league who will come in and score goals, no problem at all. Because we need somebody like that. Because I just don't trust Isak and Wilson to stay fit.
I don't know. I'm not sure that's what they'll go for. Maybe they might go for somebody less proven. We've been linked with people who aren't proven. We've been linked with people that fit the right profile but are projects, and then we've been linked with players who are up to sort of 27 to 30 years old that are ready right now. So we've been linked with a variety of, when we're talking about forward and wide forward options. It's really hard to know. It's hard to wade through all the crap and the links and the media. Somebody's right, or nobody's right. Maybe we'll get a loan in midfield and a centre half, and we won't get any forwards. Like it's really difficult to know.
Darren's mentioning Timo Werner was linked today as well. Look, Timo Werner it didn't exactly bang the goals in when he was at Chelsea, so I'm not sure he would be the right man to bring in either. The Black Bearshed says, good evening, lads. Not Toon related, but surely Everton are better off minus 10 points than minus 3 points last year or minus 9 points in administration with all the shit that comes with that. Billy, I know you feel pretty strongly about the Everton situation, that it should have happened before this season.
Of course it should. We've known about this since the COVID years. In fact, the reason why their ceiling was so low, really, and they're only 15 million above it, is because they've kind of swayed the league that they lost £80 million more than Man United or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, I've got it here. So it was right. So it was to do with the COVID losses that they claimed. Everton were the major outlier. So this is from the Swiss Ramble, by the way. So Everton are the major outlier with £225 million they claimed as the losses for COVID, and second highest is Man United at 152 million. Obviously, that's nonsense. And then it descends all the way down to us near the bottom. We've only claimed for 40. So we've claimed for 40 and they've claimed for 228 million. That's the discrepancy there. So I don't see how, they've also got, so no other club has claimed anything like Everton's £88 million for player trading COVID losses. So Everton claimed £88 million. Aston Villa claimed 13, and then the other 18 clubs all claimed 0. So they're going to really struggle with this appeal because it looks really dodgy. It doesn't look good at all.
And plus, you've got the legal aspects now with Leeds, Burnley, Leicester all looking at legal action against them, which could push them into administration and then give an extra 10 points or 12 points.
It could be a minus. Well, I read somewhere today it could be another -9 if they. And listen, they've got every right to do it because it should have happened earlier, and it just. Again, it's just the Premier League.
They're very lucky that this has happened in a year where the other sort of relegation fodder are absolutely useless.
Yeah, I think that's why the league have done it.
They might still stay up.
Yeah, I think they will stay up. I think this is why the Premier League have done it.
Well, it's a good point, isn't it? Because it obviously gives them a much better chance of staying up this season. And in fact, I think they will stay up because, like I said, the teams that are going to be down there, there's a few worse than Everton, but you never know. But you know, this isn't going to go away. It's one of those things that is going to stick around for a while because other teams are bloody furious by this, and quite rightly so, in my opinion. Many people say no to Ekitike. So you know,
you should definitely do a poll.
Strong.
Actually, hang on. We'll review him for 2 minutes, and then you can put a poll up, and then we'll see at the end of the show. There you go. That'll be a good one.
Isn't it up to the host to decide who puts a poll up, Alex? You just get
or don't do that, you know. Also don't do
that. Tom says, given the potential history again with Ekitike, would you worry about a potential attitude issue? Young lad probably could be knocked into shape. I mean, I haven't heard any reports of a bad attitude with him. That's the thing, Billy.
No, it's agent related, really. But I mean, the first time he said he was coming, then he didn't. The second time he said he was coming, then he didn't. Then he said he wanted to go to Paris Saint-Germain, which, of course, you can't kind of argue against. But the fact he's kind of effed us over twice, not for me.
He was ready. If I don't know if people remember, he filmed on, I think it was Instagram, himself wandering around Rem, his hometown, saying goodbye because he was coming to us. He did that. Not his clubs, not his agents. He made those little mini videos.
But I think that's what confused a lot of people, Alice, because he came out not long after that and said,
well, I think he did want to come to us. He just got swayed.
I'm not ready to go on abroad. I mean,
he's a young French man, and he's looking at the likes of Mbappe, and he's got
I don't blame him for going to
PSG.
I don't blame him for that at all. I just didn't like the way we were chasing his tail like for practically the whole transfer window, and you know,
Well, I think we've learned since then, haven't we? And we've brought in more,
you
know, more staff in that area, and we won't get played like that again. So
That's an ollie.
Well, Foxy says no issues with Ekitike coming in. He's had a tough year, but still a good prospect. Chose the club he supported as a kid to play with Mbappe and Messi and Neymar. Can't blame him at all. Yeah, let's not forget they were there when he signed for PSG, of course. West Ham are also interested in Ekitike, says Julie J. Andrew says, I can see both sides of the Ekitike discussion. However, I agree with Alex's stance on it. Plus, we all know how much better our coaches make players.
It's not about his technical ability. It's not about that at all.
Yeah. I mean, the kid seems to have an attitude problem, says Paul.
But
I've never seen an attitude problem from him, I have to say. I mean, we've never heard from Ekitike himself, so there's no reports from PSG saying he's got any sort of attitude problem or anything like that. So I'd be very wary about saying the kid's got an attitude problem when we don't really know him. Ronald, thank you very much for your £10 super chat. He says, I bet Trips just wants out of playing more rubbish for England. That's why he's come back home. Yeah, listen, his personal issue could be that he's sick of playing for Southgate, or he's just sick of playing out of position all the time. And although he did play right back on Friday, I have to say. Right, who's the first player up tonight, Alex?
First half he did. Second half
first half he did. Yeah. Good point.
Right, let's get it up. So it's worth, just because I brought it up when you mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have a look at how he's done. So this year, again, 9 minutes, not a lot. Still super, super young at 21. If we scroll down, decent data. It's over 900 minutes, so it's about 1,000 minutes for sample size. Defensive output's really, really solid. Again, interceptions as a forward always indicate a high level of intelligence and positional awareness. Tidy with the ball. Successful take-on rate is really, really high. Assist total's really high. He's a good player. He is a really good player. If you scroll down, you've got Mateusz Cunha, who we've seen this season has been really, really solid for Wolves. Much more improved, much like he was when he was at Leipzig. You've got Cody Gakpo on here. We know what he's about. Xerxes as well, who was that Bayern kid. He was very highly rated once upon a time. Callum Wendo, who we've looked at before. You know, and Visser for Brentford, we know is an absolute unit. So there is a player there. He's a good young player. 6'2", 21 years old. Good dribbler, good wide forward. You know, if it's beneficial to us financially, we might look at it. I don't see why not. But
it's on a lot of money, though, isn't he, for a 21-year-old substitute?
Well, yeah, but we're in a position where we'll go, right, we'll take him on loan and develop him, but we're not paying any wages for him.
Yeah, I guess so.
We could say that. Like, We're well within our rights.
Just a quick one. Ian Skinner's asking if it's next week the Premier League clubs vote on the co-owned thing. It's Tuesday, 21st of November. So that will be a very interesting talking point. Sorry, Alex, go on.
Well, we got first player anyway. No, that was it. I just thought we'd touch on Ekitike for a minute, purely because people were talking about it. So
this is Serhu Gurasi.
Serhu Gurasi.
Serhu?
Indeed.
Hey, I've said it right.
Serhu.
Hey. Serhu Gurasi. Well, it's Yadali Gurasi.
Yadali, indeed. So Boniface, of course, we're linked with him. However, we're gonna do a different striker today. There'll be more transfer shows, don't worry. So this is the guy. He is. I understand that Harry Kane is our guy, but this is the guy. Absolute madness with 15 goals in the Bundesliga. He hit 10 in the first 5 games, which is bonkers. 6'1.5" at 27 years old. This is his peak right now. His athletic peak, his strength, his reading of the game, his finishing. I mean, this guy kind of reminds me of when Papi Cisse first joined us.
Yeah.
Because I've watched a bit of him. Obviously, he's meteoric. That's the word. Meteoric rise in the Bundesliga. I've watched a few games now. Just ridiculous. It reminds me of Cisse. He'll hit anything from anywhere. Just doesn't care. Just absolutely doesn't care. Reckless abandon. 30 yards. Doesn't care. It just seems to be in the right place at the right time. Always. Just that whether, and it's one of those where you think it feels like an accident, but it can't be because it happens so often. He's just got something extra. And when you consider that it's 15 goals from 8 XG, okay, he's running rather hot. This is not it's not sustainable at all. No way in hell is this sustainable. He should be on somewhere around the 8 mark. So he's never going to keep this up at all. Which is, a lot of people are looking at him as a dangerous signing. It feels very much like a Man United signing or a panic buy from a certain club, purely because of the output for this year. But this is, I would imagine he's never going to get a season as good as this one right now.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I massively could be wrong. But it does feel like is not flash in the pan. I think that's really harsh because he's had to build up over his career to get to this peak. But I feel like this is peak. So if we scroll down and actually have a look at the data, all the numbers are for output. Shot creating actions, his non-penalty XG, which is the important one. I think he scored 4 penalties, a few penalties. So it's important to have a look at the non-penalty XG to see his open play stuff. 0.77 goals per 90, which is bonkers, in the top 2% in Europe. So that's as expected. His actual is higher than that. He's scoring more than a goal a game. Again, we've seen it. He's massively overperforming his XG, but even so, if we scroll down, we've got Lukaku, Benzema, Sebastian Haller, we've got Kane, Lewandowski, Mbappe, Haaland. All the big hitters are in here because he's having the season of his life. If we go and compare him to Mr. Wilson, let's scroll out a little bit so we can see the graphic. So Wilson's actually not too far away in certain things. So non-penalty expected goals and stuff with his shots total, non-penalty goals. So in the important output, similar to Wilson, Wilson's lethal when he plays, but obviously this guy's creating a lot more as well. Defensive numbers are up there. He's also much better at his passing, shot creating actions. So his build up and connection with other teammates is a lot more present than it is with Wilson. Wilson is very much, I will do the final part of the move, and that is it. Whereas Guirassy will give you a lot more in build up. Defensively, I mean, aerials and clearances, yeah, but in terms of off the ball stuff, it's okay. He still works hard, but it's not. He doesn't quite do as much. I don't want to spend too long on him, but still, left wing, definitely don't want him at left wing. His valuation is going to be through the roof right now. It's estimated 40 million euros. However, there are rumours of a release clause being, I can't remember.
15.
Is it 15? It's sub 20. Definitely maybe 15. His agent, don't really know too many other players. Did I actually look at his agent? I can't remember. Opening a new tab.
Right, while Alex is doing that, the poll is up. Would you have Ekitike at Newcastle? Simply yes or no. There is a poll.
Yeah, so no other representation. Yeah, I mean, I'll let you guys weigh on it at this point. For Guinea, 8 caps, 2 goals for Guinea. Obviously, is French born, but I'm not 100% convinced by this. I feel like this is very much a Man United buy him in January and he does nothing kind of.
Yeah, but what
This
we
is
need to think about, Alex, is he plays for Guinea. African Nations Cup is in January. So we buy him and we don't literally get him till sometime in February, depending on how Guinea do in the tournament. So for me, we have to be careful here. He's a brilliant striker. Don't get me wrong. I think he's having a phenomenal season. But is it just is it a flash in the pan? Is it not a flash in the pan? He's 27.
I think he'll still provide good output, just not as good as this. This is outlandish. It's damn right unsustainable. It's never going to be able to continue this. If you go and I normally you shouldn't be swayed by YouTube highlights, but go and watch some YouTube highlights. It's very much Papi Cisse-esque. He's chipping people from 25 yards. He's hitting it past 3 defenders. Some of the goals are absolutely world class, and he deserves all the applause he's getting for this season because he's been magnificent. However, it's
very
not
interesting, Alex. Pont Mags has just watched some reels of Guirassy. He's absolutely top-notch goals from all over distance, tap-ins, creative goals, clutch player. Foxy says Guirassy lethal this season, but a no for me. All signs point to a purple patch year. Scored more this season already than he has any other season. Positive is the cheap release clause, but he's limited. Interesting.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? Well, I mean, your cheap release clause, he's going to want a reasonable contract. But theoretically, if you sign him and he doesn't reproduce this, it doesn't matter. If he goes back down to what he should be producing, he's still going to get value out of the 15. It's still going to be a positive buy. However, I don't know. I just don't think it's probably the right buy. I feel like there's risk.
Billy?
Yeah, he's got the Midas touch at the minute, but how long does that Midas touch last? That's the question.
And if you watched any games as well, the Bundesliga defenders, if you watch the build up to a lot of those goals, it is really shocking defending. And
that's been mentioned a few times in the comments about the Bundesliga defenders, and he'd face a very
erratic. I mean, look at Union Berlin last season were challenging. They're dead last. It's so erratic in that league.
Comparison to Cisse is a good one. But if he came in for 15 million euros and he did what Cisse did in that January to May period, you're selling him for 25 million somewhere after.
Yeah, but it's a very good point using Cisse as an example because he came in and was sensational, wasn't he? So, Alex is asking our verdict on France's win last night. Of course, they beat Gibraltar 14-0.
I didn't actually see that.
Yes.
Wow.
Listen, I think Gibraltar. Listen, if we're honest, they shouldn't be there. I mean, I don't mean that harshly against Gibraltar. Well, Alex, listen. Is this the Alex opinion show tonight, or can we all have one? Honestly, you've got a bloody 3-day hangover and you're taking it out on everybody. It's a disgrace, young man. What I was going to say was, I think there should be a sort of mini nations qualifying tournament so that all don't play in it. I don't know. I just think it's not great on Gibraltar, is it? Losing 14-0. Come on. I mean, Billy?
I mean, they were lucky to get 0, to be fair.
Yeah.
They had a man sent off after about 10 minutes, which didn't help them.
Well, yeah. I mean, there were 2 down on 4 minutes. I mean, the writing was on the wall very early. Never mind. Look, I just think it's like San Marino, these other minnows. Mind you, Luxembourg have improved over recent times, by the way. I'd just like to point that out. But I don't know. Listen, if they played England, Gibraltar, it probably would have only been about 2-0. Let's be honest. Malta aren't exactly a nation-destroying, team other. So, we are just going to get pulverized in the Euros. I just can't see England doing anything. Anyway, let's move on.
We all say this, and what happens if Fluke's a nice draw? We end up with I don't know.
Yeah.
The Isle
Scotland.
the Isle of Wight, Scotland.
The Isle of Wight, Billy.
Well, easy draws and
Well,
everything.
they've gone through unnoticed. Anyway, next one up tonight is Jonathan Tarr. Now, I like this guy. I like this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's no secret that Paul's a closet Leverkusen fan. And they're good. I mean, they're a really good team this season. He's central to that. Upon doing some research for this tonight, I have watched a few Leverkusen games recently. It reminds me a lot of, I mean, I don't know if people are going to agree with it. It's a weird one. Alonso is doing what Mourinho has tried to do at Roma, but he's done it successfully with the wing backs and the double pivot and the big guy up top, Abraham versus Boniface. I feel like he's done a very similar thing. It's just worked a lot better and the recruitment's been better. He's got Grimaldo on that left wing, who's basically everything Luca Digne wishes he was. Grimaldo's a freak, and Granit Xhaka in is so important in that midfield, and all of the centre halves are so integral. But Tarr is one of the older ones. He's 27. Obviously, they've got Hincapie and a few of the younger ones. But we're looking tonight at actually one of the older ones. But he's still so integral. He plays generally in the centre of the back three. Gets a lot of touches of the ball. Very, very similar to how kind of Lewis Dunk operated when Brighton used to play with the back five. If anybody can remember that, back when Cucurella was the wide centre half, and they were really, really positive to watch. Well, they still are. Question marks over this in terms of why the hell would they want to sell? Because Leverkusen are currently top of the league. Bayern Munich have scored 42 goals this year, and they're still not first. It's Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen, so they're just so clinical, and this guy is a big part of it. In terms of contract, then, what year are we in now? So the end of this season would be 2024 summer. So at the end of the season or January. So he's either going to have 12 months or 18 months left on his contract, whichever way we look at it, and moderate wages. So it's a case of offer, give them an offer they can't refuse. However, again, they've got no reason to sell. I think it's very dependent on the player. Does he want to stick around for the project and try and go for the trophy? I can't see anyone leaving in January from that group. I really can't. I know there's been sort of Florian Wirtz and Boniface and Tarr and Hincapie. There's been a lot of them touted with moves away, but they want to push for the title, surely. So I can't see this being until the summer, if it ever does happen. So let's scroll down and actually have a look at some of the important stuff. Right, so passes is basically the main thing here. He is an absolute pass merchant. He gets all the touches of the ball for his team, and he's very, very good at them. 97th percentile for pass completion rate. Again, he's a big centre half. How tall was he? Was he 6'2", 6'3"? He was 6'3" and a half. So yeah, really, really tidy defensively. Tackles and interceptions again aren't super high there, but it depends on, they're a very dominant team, so you've got to take that with a pinch of salt. He's not going to have to make a lot of those defensive actions in a game. And if we go and compare him to, do we have a Sven Botman on here? We do. Let's ping Sven on there. Why not? So who's who? We've got green is Jonathan Tarr. So Botman with a lot more shots and assists on there, but he is part of our set piece routine when he plays. But in terms of Tarr, you've got clearances and blocks are a bit higher, progressive carries, pass completion, progressive passes. So his passing and ball progression is a lot higher than Botman's. And we all consider Botman's to be elite, to be very, very tidy. So Tarr's definitely putting up the right numbers. Of course, it does help that he's got a good team to play to balls over to Boniface. He's got the wide wing backs are really, really solid at receiving the ball and very technically gifted. They're just a well put together team. So I think it's important to have a look at the SOFA score in this one specifically. Scroll down and have a look. So let's go. There you go. 4-0 over Union Berlin, and he actually scored in this as well. Let's have a look. Jonathan Tarr. So central in a back three. Let's get rid of our funny advert. There we go. So he actually got, where is it? So Jules, very tidy. 1 out of 2 ground, 2 out of 2 aerial, 97 touches of the ball, 83 out of 88 passes. Super, super clean and tidy. 4 out of 6 long balls as well. and he got a shot, and I think he scored from it in this game. Yeah, he did. So incredible. And then if we go and have a look at his Germany appearance, this is him in a back four. So I think it's relevant to have a look at this. So wasn't an incredible rating for him. They did have a little bit of a mare. They conceded 2 goals against Turkey. However, played a funny. Is that Kai Havertz at left back? Hang on a minute.
No,
What's
it's not.
What's
happened here?
Herr Sudengarten, the new German manager, is it?
What have I missed something here? I didn't watch this game, so
Come on, surely he didn't start at left back.
if anybody watched this, I mean,
That
Foxy,
can't be
if
right.
you watch this, enlighten us. What's going on there?
Sudengarten, the new German manager.
Unless Kimmich dropped back, and I'm trying to think of what could have actually happened.
What was the
here.
final score in this one, Alex?
I think Germany won 3-2. Oh no, Turkey beat them 3-2, so they actually lost.
I'm not
However-
surprised they played Havertz at left back.
Well, however, Jonathan Tah in this game,
Hang on. Apparently, he did start at left back and he did score.
that's so weird. Anyway, we'll look at the
By
guy
the
we're meant
way,
to be looking at.
Davey makes a good point that Jonathan Tah could be a bit of a nightmare to commentate on, playing alongside Fabian Schär. Schär to Tah, back to Schär.
That would be pretty funny. But to be fair, he would be playing instead of Shah, I would imagine, because he would.
I'm staggered. That's just took me by surprise. I'd seen Havertz at left back.
SofaScore is honestly, if you're a football nerd, you can lose hours finding funny things out on SofaScore. It's great. So in this game,
got it all wrong at Arsenal. Maybe he is a left back.
well, yeah, maybe.
Well, yeah, there's a few comments coming in saying he can't score when he's a striker, but we put him left back, he'll score. He'll be the top scorer.
But 101 touches, 90 out of 95 passes. So you can see what he's about here. That's still very, very impressive with a key pass, 2 accurate long balls. Fell off a little bit physically in this game. But he's consistent. He can play in a back 4, in a back 5, back 3, however way you're looking at it. Flexible, versatile, experienced. Played Champions League, played for his country, top level in the Bundesliga, pushing for a title this season. Buckets and buckets of experience. What is he on here? 19 caps for Germany. And yeah, there we go. I don't think he would cost that much. I mean, Transfermarkt seems to think he's a bit cheaper right now. I think you'd be getting peak centre half. I think you're paying for the potential back in that 2018 valuation there.
20's a bit low.
I agree. I think it's extremely low. If we could get him for 20, it'd snap your hand off. Who's he got in here? Sean Longstaff has got the same agent. Interesting. Lewandowski, Gabri Vega. Oh, and we do know that's interesting because there were pictures of our representatives with Gabri Vega's agents in Madrid because they were pictured together. So that is 100% fact that we know this agency, which is interesting. So
it's a bloody good agency. Look at the players they've got there.
I'm
Benrahma, they've got
Glasgow in the
Mitrovic,
past.
Lewandowski.
but that's not even in the know. That's fact because we saw the pictures
Yeah.
of some of our guys sat with the representatives of this agency. So, yeah, I would absolutely go for this. I know. Generally, we've been looking at younger centre halves. It's tend to have been 23 and under, with a bit of progression. However, I mean, why not? It's 27. It's a centre half. They're normally better when they're older anyway, aren't they?
I
Traditionally,
like Jonathan Tah. I think he'd be a good. Billy, what's your opinion?
Yeah, he's an excellent centre half, but I just don't see Leverkusen selling him, if I'm perfectly honest.
But not until the summer, anyway.
Interesting. Foxy says apparently Havertz wanted to play there. I mean, that says a lot about
Not
the
sure
manager,
that's how
doesn't
that
it?
works.
Can you imagine Isak went up there, Eddie Howe says, I fancy playing left back today, Eddie. Oh, yeah, no problem, matey. We'll pop you in there.
Who's the manager? Mavis Royley?
Well, I'm staggered by that. Absolutely staggered. But Jonathan Tah would be somebody who would be. He's one of those players that I was talking about before, who I think would be able to come in and just hit the ground running.
He's a cracking player, he really is.
In that regard, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
And with the centre half, it's a bit different as well. Because, you can trust a centre half at 32, whereas I'd rather not have a wide forward, especially with the way we play. We need our wide forwards to be a lot more pressy and energetic. Whereas good old Fabian doesn't need to quite do as much, does he? So
true. CC training with Macclesfield apparently with a view to joining. Yeah, he is still going. I think he's 38 now, isn't he? Papa CC. I mean, look, what he did for us was brilliant. He did go off the boil towards the end, though, didn't he? And
I think he should come and train with us. I think we need to do things like that. I think that's cool. He doesn't have to play, but come and get some of these players, these ex-players, just come and train with us for a few weeks. Why not? For fitness, for morale, stories.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? They do it in places like Dortmund and stuff, don't they? And it's always very good for PR.
True.
And
Darren says, if we've got cash to spend without breaking FFP, why not go for somebody like Ollie Watkins from Villa as a replacement for Wilson?
We just signed a new contract, so you're looking at £78 million for him at least.
Mm-hmm.
Then that wouldn't be an FFP kind of ceiling, would it? I wouldn't have thought.
Interesting. I like coffee says Papi Cisse can teach our players how to score wonder goals against Chelsea.
That's good. Good time.
You could certainly do that.
Indeed. Very, very good player. Mickey says, did you see Jetro Willems in the Toon? Yep. Put that out on socials. Looks like he hasn't played in a while. In all fairness to him. But listen, one player like Willems, I mean, who just became sort of, I'll not say legendary because he's not, but he became a fan hero, didn't he? In the short time that he was with us,
he was outstanding for us, weren't he?
He was brilliant, yeah.
Knacked everything, didn't he?
Macclesfield should get Obafemi Martins as well because he's still only 25. Yeah. Good evening, Lawrence. Hope you're well, buddy. Chris says most of those Leverkusen players will hang on to see if Alonso gets the Real job in the summer. Then they'll fancy a move there.
I'm not sure where I'll be signing Leverkusen players. Not too many of them, anyway. Maybe one or two. I mean, Florian Wirtz would probably be one of them.
Yeah.
No, I want Florian Wirtz.
I mean, we all want Florian Wirtz, but I mean, we
love Florian Wirtz, yeah. But
they're stacked in that anyway with Bellingham and Arda Güler and stuff. They don't need another one. It's fine.
That's true, actually.
Yep. The Blackbird Shed basically told him what I was going to do if he finished his sentence. He says, what about Alison Max? I'll get me caught. Indeed. I like the look of Victor Boniface. Watched a few videos. He's quality. He's quality.
He is.
Mickey loved Willem's goal at Anfield. Absolute belter goal. Willems was that lone player you fall in love with and then are heartbroken when he doesn't get signed permanently. It's like, well, I mean, what would you compare it to, Billy?
Well, put it this way, if it had stayed fit, Mike Ashley weren't paying the money anyway, so in the end it was kind of therapeutic. He did get injured, we had an excuse then. And Mike Ashley wouldn't have signed him. No way.
Interesting. Right, third and final player of this show. By the way, just to let you know, we are doing another transfer show tomorrow night. We have plenty of players, obviously, to bring you. So we're doing another one tomorrow night as well at 7 p.m. tomorrow. And then from Tuesday, we will start looking ahead to, obviously, the weekend, etc. So tomorrow night is another transfer show, guys. The final player for tonight is Marcos Leonardo. His full name is Marcos Leonardo Santos Almeida.
And guess who he plays for?
Santos, funny enough.
I know.
Mark Leonard.
You what, Billy?
Mark Leonard.
Mark Leonard, yes.
Mark Leonard, yeah. Or Marcus Leonard, yeah. Honourable mentions before we start this guy. Adam Wharton was linked again by several sources last week, I think it was. Obviously, the Blackburn midfielder that we've looked at in 2 previous transfer shows. His name's come around again. So we won't do him today or tomorrow. However, I just thought it was worth, we do see the links. So if things start to get a bit stronger, we will pop him in another show. But we want to try and get some new names in there and fresh links. So, But yeah, Marcos Leonardo. So he's been linked the last couple of days, I think. It was the 18th. It was like yesterday. So he's been linked by several sources. I can't remember if it was the Mirror or the Sun, and somewhere in Brazil as well. So there's been a few papers. So it's not super, strong links, but still links. There's a couple of welcome to Manchester United videos floating around on YouTube. So they obviously think he's signing for them apparently. But you get,
I mean,
you get
how they have the audacity to say anyone's going to sign for them at the minute, I do not know.
20-year-old. So he's not quite your 16 to 18. He's not in that younger bracket. He's actually, he's and 200 days. So he's 20 and a half. So he's not a young boy. He's had a couple of seasons of senior football in Brazil now. And he's done well. He got 13 goals last season and 13 goals this season. So he's experienced. He's putting up relatively the same XG as he is goal output. So he's hitting where he should hit. He wears the number 9. He is a centre forward. However, he floats wide quite a lot. He does a lot of driving runs off the right-hand side. He's quite partial to a chop as well. He's very strong. He's very, very up there as well in the Brazilian league for such a young age. His physicals are in really, really good shape.
To a chop. Are we talking pork?
No, we're talking before he gets to the byline, chop back and drive centrally. We're talking Ronaldo chop.
Ah, right. It all makes sense when you say Ronaldo chop.
So you'll hate him because he won't cross the ball. He'll chop and then drive it inside. But scores a lot of headers as well. Appears at the back post in the 6-yard box. His positioning, his awareness is great. He's always in the right place at the right time. Something I noticed a lot considering he's very young. It's something I recommend every so often on transfer shows. If you've got time and you like football, watch some Brazilian football. It's brilliant. It's amazing. They try funny shapes, formations. They try crazy stuff. They try playground tactics. It's hilarious. Some of it works, some of it doesn't, and it's funny. There's drama, there's skill, there's passion. It's amazing. So if you get bored, honestly, go watch some Brazilian football because it's fantastic. But we'll scroll down and we'll have a look at the main data for him. So this is from the last 2,300 minutes. So it's a good data set for him. We've got high number of shot creating actions, high volume of shots. His number to XG is okay. It's not terrible. Pass completions are decent. Progressive carries is very, very high, but he's very technical. He's very strong with the ball as well.
Alex, his pass completion looks great. Then you see his passes attempted. You don't pass very often.
Well, because he's a 9, so he's never going to have that. It's the odd link up play. He's either on the receiving end of the ball and tries to drive and shoot himself, or that's fine for sort of what he's going to do.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
not an issue. It would be weird if he had 30 or 40 passes attempted. Then he'd be more of a false 9 and contributing in build up. He's not quite that guy. He's quite happy to do some build up in terms of driving runs. We're not really going to know too many players from this list. So we'll scroll down and show you his previous season just to say, there we go. So 16, 17, 18 and 19 years old throughout Santos. Sort of 500-ish minutes in the first 2 years with them. Nearly 3,000 minutes last year. And then 2,300 this year. So he's matched the same as he did last year, pretty much, with 500 fewer minutes, which is decent. It's impressive. So he's got a good amount of experience. All those people saying to bring Minter back from loan, but he's not got the experience. So this is the kind of experience that Minter needs to go and get. He needs a couple of full seasons playing men's football. Doesn't always matter on the league necessarily. It does to a point. But yeah, so let's have a look at his SOFA score. So he's about 5'9". He's not the tallest. Number 9. Let's go and have a look at some recent games. He is a penalty taker as well, and he's a cheeky one at that. He loves a Panenka. Of course he does. Brazilian.
Not every time, though, surely.
Well,
I think I would give the game away, wouldn't it?
So 2 key passes. Despite only having 10 in this game, 2 key passes. He tried a cross. Very, very good with his physicals. 2 out of 4 ground. He won all of his area duels. Was fouled once. So, yeah, a few things in there. And then we could have done a couple of block shots. But, yeah, you can see his physicals are up there for one of the younger guys. There was a game in here that was quite funny. Yeah, the Palmeiras against Santos game. They won 2-1 and he scored in this game. So this is Endrick's team. So if anybody knows Endrick, the kid who's going to Real Madrid in about 9 years when he grows up, that's him.
Jeff.
You've got Marcos Leonardo.
Jeff Endrick.
Jeff, and not quite Jeff Endrick, no. This is Endrick at Real Madrid,
Dear me.
and he's bonkers. By the way, some of his output for how old is he now? I think he's 18. Can't remember. Yeah. So Marcus Leonardo played out on the right hand side. He tinkers with this formation all the time, but played out on the right. And how did he do in this game? 3 shots on target, successful dribble, missed a chance. Again, 11 passes. You can see that the pass volumes go away next points. The pass volume's not there because it's not what he's about. It's not what his game is. But still, 2 key passes with an accurate long ball. Physicals again, bonkers for a 20-year-old. 5 out of 6 ground duels, 3 aerial duels, 1 as well. Drew 3 free kicks. Yeah, I think
his strike partner Alex with a yellow card next to him. What a surprise!
Yeah.
Well, yeah, funny that.
Doesn't
Good
normally
old
get
Rangers guy. I didn't realise he went to Santos. Interesting. And then if we look at his SOFA score, 7 caps and 7 goals for under 20s of Brazil, which is always very good. Cheap-ish. You say ish because as soon as a European team comes sniffing, they're going to double that.
Yeah.
Well, we might be all right. We'll see. I like him. I think he's good. But again, I think there's a lot of other players who are also very good in this league. He's one of many. He'll be on a list. It's just a case of decide if we just to decide if he's good enough. We're going to have to dig way more into data in terms of off the ball stuff, potential progression. But he's good. He's a penalty taker. He's wise beyond his years in terms of his positioning, scores, back post headers. He's very good in build up as well. He's got a good head on his shoulders for a sort of flair Brazilian, and he's strong, which is good. I think he could do it in a better league, in a more physical league. I think he could cut it in Europe, which they can't all do that. So,
well, interesting. Rani Granny says Hendrick has a massive price tag. Apparently, PSG had a 90 million euro offer turned down. I mean, if that's the case, then he's going to cost way.
Well, Real Madrid have got him.
Yeah.
They've already got him. He's just not allowed to come to Europe until he's 18.
Very true. Very true. By the way, where was that comment I wanted to read out there? Yeah, it's Argentina play Brazil on Wednesday, so let's just hope our players come out of that unscathed.
Can I just say one more thing before we disappear off the screen share?
Yes.
Is this team. Almagro. So Gutierrez has just taken over there.
He has indeed.
I just wanted to wish him luck. They did finish 17th in that league and didn't go down. I think it's in the 2nd division of Argentina. So we'll see how he does. 19,000 seater stadium. And this is his squad. He's a bit heavy on the forwards. Maybe we could borrow one. I'm not sure they'd be up for it, but yeah. It was a very nice story. So I shall be following them.
Yes, I'm just waiting for that day that we are linked with Lachenmacher, because it would just be a joy. It would just be a joy. But remember, by the way, last game that Brazil played, Bruno got a hammering off the fans.
Strange. So I watched the first 20 minutes of the second half, and it was pretty brilliant. He was their best player by a country mile.
Loads of Brazilians saying, "What's happened to Bruno? He can't do this. He can't do that." And I'm thinking, what?
He was breaking up plays, and he was starting to play. He was creating chances. He had a really good 20 minutes. What I watched, and I was amazed to see him get slated. But I was like, I'm amazed what I saw of the game.
And the thing is, I mean, look, the Brazilian fans normally do target one player, don't they? And Bruno seems to be getting it the last couple of games.
Because Fred's not there anymore, so they don't know where to put frustration.
Well, they can still target Fred. There's nothing wrong with that.
No. It's like when Maxi left us, nobody knew where to attack. When Fred stopped playing for Brazil,
he's got to get him in.
For people.
He's got to get him in. And also a massive well done to the Newcastle ladies again, winning today down at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah,
absolutely flying. 1 point off the top of the league with a game in hand. They are absolutely smashing it this season. Still yet to be beaten. So congratulations to Becky and the girls. Absolutely rocking it right now. So well done to them as well today. Right, that is your share for tonight on this Sunday evening. As I say, we will be back at 7 o'clock tomorrow night with another transfer show. We have some other names mentioned. We'll have a look at the poll result before we go. The question was simply, would you have Ekitike at Newcastle United? Yes was 55%. no 45%. So quite a close one there. But the majority would have Ekitike. That was on 340 votes. So
What was the percent for yes?
55.
55. Wow.
So interesting. But there you go. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you have enjoyed the show, don't forget to give it the thumbs up before you leave. We're just under 300 likes with over 800 watching tonight. Come on, guys. Smash it before you leave. And of course, if you are new to the channel, like what you see, then why not subscribe? Come and be part of this amazing community with these guys in the chat. Fantastic family that we've built up here. Free to do so, and also hit the notification bell, which will let you know when we schedule the live shows or we upload any daily news videos, etc. Thank you very much to the mods. Thank you to the super chatters tonight and new members, etc. Thank you to Billy and Alex, but as usual, thank you to you guys, and we will see you again at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of the evening and take care.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check out and breathe.